Hey folks, this is Rhykker with some data on the best builds and the best classes for solo in Diablo 3 Season 7. Before Season 7 launched, we released a video on the top 10 builds going into the season. That was based on PTR results, so now a month into the season, we're revisiting this and seeing whether the meta has changed. How accurate were our predictions? We collected data on every single Greater Rift 90 plus clear across North America, Europe, and Asia in Seasonal Softcore Season 7. We'll present our results on the current top 10 best builds, and also go over data on which classes are the most popular in which regions, and which region, dare I say it, has the best players. Kicking off this list at number 10 from Asia, with a Greater Rift 90 clear, we have the Shadow Marauder build for the Demon Hunter. This is a melee Demon Hunter build that combines 2-piece Shadow set, 2-piece Marauder set, along with stacking companions to deal a lot of damage with Fan of Knives and stack up on damage reduction. This build was also powerful in past seasons, and it did not feature in our previous top 10 list. The reason being that while it is strong, there is a much stronger solo Demon Hunter build on this list. This time, it just managed to squeak its way into the top 10, and while this is certainly a strong build, it is far from the best. Coming in at number 9 with a Greater Rift 91 clear from Europe is the INVOKER THORNS Crusader. The INVOKER Crusader tied for 10th place on our previous list, so it's doing roughly the same. INVOKER THORNS is a solid choice, but is far from the strongest Crusader build. However, it segues very well into that strongest Crusader build, which we'll cover in a short bit. Coming in at number 8, we have a two-way tie between a Crusader and a Barbarian build. From Asia, with a 92 Greater Rift clear, we actually have a HAIHIERDIN. That is a Crusader using the Blessed Hammer skill combined with the Seeker of the Light set. This was a real upset in our top 10 list. No one was expecting to see this come out in the lineup. This build combines just about every piece of equipment that buffs Blessed Hammer, and is a true homage to the Diablo 2 HAIHIERDIN. Also tied for 8th place, from Asia with a Greater Rift clear of 92 is the THORNS Barbarian. On our previous list, the THORNS Barbarian was also in 8th place and also had a Greater Rift clear of 92, so that's about as damn accurate a prediction as you can get. Coming in at number 7, we have a tie between two Witch Doctor builds. With a Greater Rift clear of 93 from Europe, we have the Jade Harvester doc. Once again, our PTR prediction was exactly spot on, 7th place and Greater Rift clear of 93. But the real shocker on this list is the other Witch Doctor build, which came out of nowhere. From North America, with a Greater Rift clear of 93, is the FIREBATS Witch Doctor. Firebat Witch Doctors are very prevalent in the 4-man meta, filling the DPS role, but they tend to rely on their teammates to keep them alive. Their lack of survivability relative to other Witch Doctor builds make them not very favored in solo, but as has been proven, they still are competitive. There are two variants of this Firebat build. We have a HELLTOOTH variant, which in Europe cleared a Greater Rift 90, but then we have the ARCHON variant, which cleared this 93. This was a real surprise to see ARCHON actually being viable, and is a testament to the thought that PTR cannot make perfectly accurate predictions. The meta changes. New ideas emerge throughout a season. Coming in at number 6, we have a two-way tie. First, from Asia, with a Greater Rift clear of 94, we have an ULIANA monk. On our previous list, the ULIANA monk came in at number 10 with a Greater Rift clear of 91. So it is moving up in the world. However, if you take a look at the vast majority of top monk builds, I was only able to find maybe the one ULIANA monk that was able to clear above Greater Rift 90. But the fact that it still made it in there and cleared a 94 shows that there's actually going to be a lot of versatility within the monks, even though there is going to be one very preferred build, which we're going to get to soon. Also tied for 6th place with a Greater Rift clear of 94. From Europe, we have a Charge Barb. There are two gross variants of the Charge Barb, the Vile Wards Barbarian and the Skuller's Salvation Barbarian. In this case, it's the Vile Wards that cleared a 94. In Asia, we had a 92 clear with Skullars, but the Charge Barb has certainly moved up in the world relative to our top 10 prediction, where it was tied for 10th place. Coming in at number 5 from Asia with a Great Rift clear of 95, we have the Lashing Tailkick Monk. There are two variants, in fact, of the Lashing Tailkick Monk that differ quite significantly on their itemization. There's the Legacy of Nightmares Lashing Tailkick Monk, which did this 95 clear, but there's also a Sun Wukong Lashing Tailkick Monk that cleared a 94 in Europe. In our PTR predictions, the Lashing Tailkick Monk did come in at number 5 with a 95 clear. However, we did not predict the Legacy of Nightmares variant. This was only for the Sun Wukong version. Lashing Tailkick Monk is a new build that has emerged for this patch, for this season, and there is versatility within it. Interesting to note is that the Legacy of Nightmares Lashing Tailkick Monk is very popular on the Asian server, but not seen very much on the North American or European server. For 4th place, we have a two-way tie between two different builds from two classes. From Asia, with a Great Rift clear of 96, we have the Witch Doctor HELLTOOTH build. There's the classic HELLTOOTH, and then there is also the Sacrifice variant of the HELLTOOTH build, which in North America cleared a 90 Greater Rift. But it's classic HELLTOOTH that really is the strongest. The offhand item of choice varies between the kitty and the snakes, with some regions preferring one to the other, but it's about 50-50 split. In the PTR, this build actually made it to number 3, but that's because this build used to use the Ring of Emptiness on the PTR, which was then nerfed right after the patch launched. Previously, it cleared on the PTR a 97, placed 3rd on our list. This slight nerf to it, reverting it back to its old Season 6 build, puts it back at number 4. Interesting to note that in Asia, the only Witch Doctor builds that cleared 90 plus Greater Rifts are HELLTOOTH Witch Doctors. Also tied for 4th place, with a 96 Greater Rift clear coming from North America, we have the Legacy of Nightmares Fan of Knives Demon Hunter. In our predictions video, this build also made 4th place with a 95 Greater Rift clear, and it continues to go strong, remaining the top solo Demon Hunter build for a few seasons now. Coming in at number 3, from Europe with a Greater Rift clear of 97, is the Monk RAIMENT SHENLONG build. This is the top solo Monk Greater Rifting build, and it is by far the most popular as well. RAIMENT SHENLONG is a glass cannon build, however. This build has the potential to out-DPS any other Monk build, but it doesn't quite have the same sustain, the same survivability that the other Monk builds have. The vast majority of Monk builds that we collected data on are RAIMENT SHENLONG, with only a few scattered here and there of the other builds. Coming in at number 2, from Europe with a Greater Rift clear of 98, is the Crusader Legacy of Nightmares Bombardment build. This is exactly where our prediction was. 2nd spot, 98 clear. Lawn Bomb continues to be the best Crusader build. And again, it's an easy transition from the INVOKER build, which is also Thorns based. All the top clears for the Lawn Bomb build were with the Swift Mount weapon, but we do see some of the lower clears, but still in the 90s, using Doombringer. Then lastly, coming in at number 1 from Europe, we have the FIREBIRD Archon build for Wizard. The only Wizard builds to clear Greater Rift 90 are FIREBIRD Archon builds. However, within those there is some variation. The Combustion rune is the one that did this 100 clear. But also in Europe, the Pure Power rune cleared a 99. PTR predictions seem to suggest that Teleport might have been the best rune, and it is in fact fallen out of favor with only a Greater Rift clear of 92. Still viable, but the higher clears are done going for all damage, less survivability. Within the FIREBIRD builds, we also see some degree of variance between itemization and skills. In general, when you see the Combustion rune, you're also seeing as gear items the Aquila Cuirass and a Furnace. And when you see the Pure Power rune, which is still there but not quite as popular as Combustion, you tend to see the Swami and the Orb of Infinite Depth. There's also some minor variations in the skills. So while, yes, it seems the only Wizard build is FIREBIRD Archon, there is some variation. Your FIREBIRD Archon may not be the same as everyone else's. Interesting to note is that in Asia, the top clearing wizards are Pure Power wizards. And overall, we see a lot more Pure Power wizards than in other regions. So in total here, we've covered 20 Greater Rift clears, that were the top in their build or build variant. Of those 20, 3 were from North America, 7 were from Asia, and 10 were from Europe. Specifically, for each class, the top Wizard clear goes to Europe, the top Crusader clear goes to Europe, the top Monk clear goes to Europe, the top Demon Hunter clear goes to North America, the top Witch Doctor clear goes to Asia, and the top Barbarian clear goes to Europe. In total, across all regions, 742 people cleared at least a Greater Rift 90. Of all of those, nearly half were from Europe. 30% were from Asia, and just under a quarter were from North America. Breaking it down by class across all regions, literally half of those clears were made by wizards. The next 25% was by monks. Then we have roughly an even split for Witch Doctor and Crusader at about 10% each. And lastly, we have the Demon Hunters and the Barbarians filling up about 2% each. Looking at the breakdown by class and region, if it's not been made clear by now, Europe is kind of dominating. But we do get to see some interesting trends here, some maybe cultural differences between the regions. While yes, overall Europe has us beat, for the Crusaders, Asia's actually a little bit stronger than Europe. Another interesting difference is that while in North America it is the Barbarian that is the weakest class, in Europe it's the Demon Hunter, and in Asia it's tied between the Demon Hunter and Barbarian, which are the 2 lowest classes across all 3 regions. Another interesting difference is that for Asia, the Crusader is slightly performing better than the Witch Doctor, whereas it's the other way around in Europe and North America. So overall, what do we gather from this? Well, Wizard is the best solo class. That said, if you want a bit more variety, you can opt for the Monk, which has more options in terms of viable builds. And while it isn't quite as strong as Wizard, it's still a contender. So while yes, we have another season where Wizard is the top class, hey, at least we're not getting twisters again. That wraps up this video. Leave a comment with your thoughts on all this. What class do you play, and are you surprised by any of this data? Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my Twitch supporters and Patreon supporters for making these videos possible. Check out these other videos, and subscribe to join Rhyker's Raiders to stay up to date on Diablo news. At BlizzCon 2016, Blizzard will reveal Diablo 4. Now, at the heart of this conspiracy is this simple 4-sided die. Let's get real up close on that and bring it into focus here. This little innocuous trinket